Welcome. My name is Aaron Richardson, and I'm an admissions counselor at Grace College. Thank you so much for joining us today at our international informational meeting. We'll share a bunch of good information about the process of getting accepted to Grace, filling out the proper paperwork to come to Grace. And we're just so excited that you've joined us today. Like I said, my name's Aaron. I'm an admissions counselor here. I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
Hello, I am Deborah Wilhite. I am the program coordinator for the Institute for Global Studies.
Hello, everybody that already joined and still joining us. My name is Arturo Fonseca, and I'm an alumni from Grace College and also an admission counselor. Very happy to be able to share great information with you and excited to help you through this journey and give you helpful information that is going to help you achieve your goals.
And my name is Ben Miles. I'm an international admissions counselor for Grace College, and I'm currently based out of Bangkok, Thailand. My wife and I live here. So if any of you happen to be around this region, I'd love to meet up with you in person sometime. Just let me know. So we're really excited to be here presenting with you, and we're going to kick things off with a little information about Grace College as a whole. So to walk us through that, Aaron is going to jump back on and give us a little bit more information about Grace.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, what I hope to do is share three main things, a little snapshot of Grace, who we are. The first of those is that we're a genuine Christian community and genuine Christian school. That's important to who we are on our campus. Our Christian faith is integrated into the classroom, into the dorm life. Campus is a place where students are going to be healthy and grow as a whole person. Being a Christian school means a lot of different things for different schools. There's a wide range of Christian schools out there. There's schools where you're required to have a degree in Bible to graduate from that school. But then there's schools that being a Christian school may just mean they started as a Christian school. It's more of a historical fact. I like to say we kind of fall in the middle of those 2 points. We don't require our students to be 70 different amazing majors for that to help you prepare for that and get that Christ-centered education. So kind of moving into academics, we have 70 different majors, like I said, so a lot of good options. Class size, about 23 students to one professor. So you're going to have really good relationships with your professors. You're going to know them well. You're not going to be a number at Grace. We really strive to get our students to build relationships with their professors and staff members on campus to really help them along in their journey. I'm a Grace College alumni, graduated about 3 years ago, and I had multiple professors and staff members really pour into my life, into my professional career, into my personal life, really just to invest in me. And all our students will get that experience from professors. The final thing I would like to share is our affordability. Grace is doing some really exciting things about cutting down the out-of-pocket costs for students. So I know cost is probably one of the biggest frustrations with college. We see that across the board from students to parents. That's the biggest frustration is how do I afford college? And I think all colleges know that, but I'm very proud to work for an institution that is actually doing something about that. We've created a 3-year program where all our degrees can be done in 3 years. That excludes actually nursing and engineering, but all our other majors can be done in 3 years, which is pretty amazing. About 45% of our students are on that track. We have textbook rentals that are $250 per year to cover your textbooks. And if you have had siblings or anyone else go to college, you know that textbooks can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a year. So you're saving a lot of money in that way. Tuition will also lock in your freshman year at Grace. And then we also have a program where you can get your master's and bachelor's in 4 years, which saves, a whole lot of money. You blend your 3rd and 4th year with undergrad and master's classes, and it is a really, really great option for a lot of students. We We would love to have you come visit our campus. If you're not able to come visit in person, we have plenty of virtual options on our website. Meet with an admissions counselor, get a virtual visit. We also will share a tour video of our campus right now that you'll get to see a little bit about our campus. After that, Ben will share about the actual application process and what that looks like. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Kennedy, and I am a student ambassador here at Grace, and I will be giving you your official Grace College golf cart tour today. We are standing in front of Westminster Hall, and first we're going to go check out the village, so let's go! Grace College is located in Winona Lake, Indiana, and as the name implies, we are located about a 5-minute walk away from the beautiful Winona Lake. And right now we are currently in the Village at Winona, which is a beautiful area of shops, including this one, which is Rocket Fizz, which is a super cool candy and soda shop. And we also have a lot of other stores, and we have a coffee shop called Light Rail and an ice cream store called Kalani's. And there are just a lot of fun places to check out. And it's really nice having our campus this close to the lake. And also on the other side of us over here is the canal. And the Village is known for doing a lot of really fun events, especially in the fall and spring, and getting the community involved as well as students on campus. Right now we are standing in the Gordon Health and Wellness Center, which is also known as the G-Hawk, and this is a great multi-purpose space here on our campus. In one area we have the weight room and the aerobics room, and those are spaces that are accessible and free for students to use. We offer a lot of different athletic classes, so we offer Zumba and yoga and that sort of thing, and those are a lot of fun. We also have the Field House, which is a great space. It's used for a lot of sport practices as well as intramural volleyball and basketball. And when that space isn't being used for a practice or something like that, students are welcome to go in and use the track and other facilities in that space as well. The G-Hawk is also home of our campus store, which is a great place to go and check out some Grace apparel and spend your flex money, which is part of your meal plan. And we also have all of our nursing classes and all of our sport management classes here in the G-Hawk as well. And it's also the home of our counseling center, and Grace offers free counseling to students. You get 8 free sessions per semester, and you can also go above that for just $5 per session, which is such a great resource and just another way that Grace really makes an effort to intentionally care for their students. Right now we are in Indiana Hall, which is one of our dorms on campus. This is actually one of our suite style dorms, and it's also a co-ed dorm. So half of it is for girls and half of it is for guys. So Indiana Hall has different sizes of rooms. They have 3-person rooms, 2-person rooms, and 4-person rooms. So if you are in a 3-person room, you'll be sharing a suite style bathroom with a 2-person room. And if you're in a 4-person room, you will have a bathroom all to yourself for just you and your 3 roommates. So the Indy rooms are very spacious, and it's very centrally located on our campus, and it's a great place to be. Right now we are in Omega Hall, and this is actually our newest dorm on campus. Its construction was finished about 4 years ago, and it's a great building. This is actually one of our community style bathroom dorms. So in the center of each hall, there's a community style bathroom with 6 showers and 6 toilets, and so there's plenty of space. I know that students don't have issues with waiting for a shower or anything like that. And also in each room, you have a sink and a vanity, so that way you have easy access to that in your room, so you don't always have to go to the community bathroom for everything. And also, in this room, we have students who have brought their own furniture, and we allow students to bring their own furniture as long as they bring a receipt to show that it's new, and then we also offer free storage over the summer. So Omega is a 3-story building, and on each floor in between the guys and the girls side, we actually have 3 different lobbies, and these lobbies are great spaces for community, and community is something that is super important to us here at Grace, and so we are really intentional about providing spaces for students to connect with each other and to have fun. So in this area we have a kitchen that students on campus can use. It's open for anyone to come and use on campus, and then also upstairs we have a movie theater room that can be reserved by students who live in Omega. Right now we are standing in our Miller Science Complex, and this is one of our newer buildings on campus also. It was recently renovated and added onto, so it was finished just at the beginning of last school year, so it's a great new space, new facility, and this is the home of our science department, and each floor has a different subject. We have math and science and physical sciences and biology and all of it, so all of that is home in this building. And this is also the home of our Lilly Center for Lakes and Streams, which is a partner organization with Grace. And Kosciuszko County has over 100 different lakes and streams, so a lot of Grace students work for the Lilly Center and partner with that organization to maintain those lakes and streams and to do research and also to educate the community about our local ecosystem. Welcome to the last stop on our tour. This is our Manahan Orthopedic Capital Center, also known as the MOCC. And this is another one of our great multi-purpose spaces here on campus. So this is the home of our business department and all of our business classes, as well as our chapels that meet 3 times a week. So they set up the space and set up a stage, and it's a great place for all of our students to come together and worship and learn as one student body. And also, this is the home of our basketball and all of our volleyball games. So this space is also used for practice and that sort of thing, and it's a great place for our students to come together and sit in the red zone and cheer on our peers and our Lancers. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have loved showing you around today. And if you're interested in more information, check out grace.edu. If you're interested in scheduling another virtual visit experience, whether that's a Zoom call with your admissions counselor or a professor or a student ambassador like me, we would love to do that. You can check that out at grace.edu/visit. And we would love to have you fill out our free online application, and you can check that out at our website.
All right, now that we showed that video, Ben, would you share a little bit more about the admissions process that a student will actually go through?
Sure thing. Thanks, Aaron. So we've seen this incredible video. This is what Grace looks like. We want you to be able to join us here. So how do you actually go through the process of applying, getting accepted to Grace, and then walking through getting scholarships from Grace? So the good news is we try and keep it super simple for you all. The first step you're going to do is you're going to go to www.grace.edu/apply and turn in our free online application. And it's super easy to complete. You can finish it in between 5 to 10 minutes. And it basically just gets you your foot in the door at Grace. It gets you started in our system. So once you've turned in that online application, one of us admission counselors will be in touch with you to help you walk through the rest of the admissions process to Grace. And basically what that'll look like is we'll ask to have a copy of your high school transcript or your secondary school transcript. And we'll also need to have a copy of either an SAT, an ACT, or a TOEFL test score. So those are the 3 things, and that's it for your application. An online application at grace.edu/apply, your high school transcript, and an SAT, ACT, or TOEFL test score. Then once you've given us all that information, the admissions committee will take a look at your application and make the final decision as to whether or not you'll be accepted at Grace. So once that process is through and you have been accepted, then we get to talk about scholarships. And this is the exciting part because, like Aaron was talking about, there is a lot of frustration and uncertainty about how are you going to be able to afford attending a US-based institution. And it's a really brave thing to be even thinking about studying at a college outside of your home country. So having to also look at the financial side of things can be a little bit intimidating or even kind of scary. But the good news is we try and keep the scholarship process pretty simple, and there's a lot of scholarships that we offer to international students. So first off, every international student is automatically given merit-based scholarships, and that's just based off of your GPA that you received at the end of your high school studies. So whatever that GPA is, you'll receive automatically a certain amount of scholarship money. Then in addition to that, we also have international student scholarships that are need-based, and they're given specifically to international students and given if you are in financial need and cannot afford the complete Grace College experience on your own or with your family's finances. We also have things like the diversity scholarship, the clergy children's scholarship, which is if your parents are involved in ministry, then there's a small scholarship fund we give for that. We also have what's called a church matching grant, which is if you have a church that is willing to sponsor your education at Grace up to $1,000 a year, we will match that with another $1,000 a year, and that could give you up to $2,000 extra dollars a year in scholarships. So those are just some of the base ones that we have. We also have a super exciting one called the Presidential Scholarship Competition. Now, this is offered once a year, and the way that it works is basically, let's say that you're graduating from high school next summer, and you apply to Grace and are accepted by December 1st of that year. If that is the case, and you have a GPA and a high school class ranking that's high enough, or an SAT or ACT score that's high enough, you'll be invited to join in this scholarship competition. And basically, it consists of a bunch of high performing students coming together and competing with interviews and essays for top scholarship money. And the prizes here are pretty good. The top prize is a full ride tuition scholarship, and the next 5 prizes leading up beneath that are also very good scholarship money. So it's an invitation only competition, but this last year, we opened it up for the first time to international students to be able to compete from abroad remotely. And we had some really good results with that. And some of our international students actually placed and won tuition money from this competition. So it's a good opportunity. If you apply and are accepted to Grace early, there's a chance that you could be invited to compete in that competition. In addition to that, we also have athletic scholarships. So if you play a sport and you're interested in potentially joining an athletic team at Grace College, we can connect you with the coaches and they can see if there's a spot on their junior varsity or varsity teams for you. And depending on your skill level and what they have available, you can get varying amounts of scholarship money to partake in one of the sports teams at Grace. So that's just kind of a brief overview of the scholarships. If you want more information, you can go to our website at www.grace.edu and look for the scholarship section, and you'll be able to see more detailed information about it. But rest assured, we want to make it possible for you to financially attend Grace, and we want to help you along that journey. So when you apply and when you're starting to look at scholarships, your admissions counselor will be walking through that journey with you and will be helping you to figure out finances, how much you can afford, what scholarships look like, the whole process. So you won't be alone in figuring this out. So once you do get through that application process and you get your scholarships, you're going to look at your final cost of attending Grace College. And that'll be the total amount of your scholarships subtracted from the total cost of attending Grace for 1 year. And if it turns out that you can afford attending Grace, then we get to help you get a student visa to come and actually study with us. So I'm going to turn this over to Deborah, who will give us a few more details on what that process looks like.
Thank you so much, Ben. Just like he said, after you've been accepted to Grace, you will need to secure an F1 visa in order to enter the United States. In order to apply for an F1 visa, you need to get what is called the Form I-20, which is issued from Grace College. In order for me, as your primary designated school official, to be able to issue you a Form I-20, I need a couple documents from you that I will put on the screen now. These are the 4 main things that I need from a student in order for me to issue you an I-20. The first thing is a passport copy. This is just to ensure that whatever I'm entering onto the government's database, which is called CVIS, is 100% accurate and matches your passport. The second thing is an I-20 information form. This is a document that you will receive from admissions, and it just asks for your basic general information, such as your address, your major, and certain other basic info. The third thing is your financial aid scholarship award letter. This is what Ben was talking about when he was saying that you could receive some sort of financial aid, and this will detail how much you will get. We will normally get this if you are an undergraduate, and you may or may not get it if you are in a graduate or doctoral program. The fourth item that I need is a bank statement or a letter from your bank and other financial supporting documents. So this is to prove to the U.S. Embassy that you are that you have the funds needed to pay for your studies at Grace College. If you cannot provide a bank statement, you can also provide a declaration of financial support, which is a document that admissions can give you, but it needs to be notarized. All of these documents that we ask you to turn in are the same documents that you will be using when you go to the U.S. Embassy to apply for your F1 visa. So everything that you provide to us needs to match what you are taking to the U.S. Embassy. Once you turn in all of these documents, I can send you an I-20, and that will either come electronically or through the mail. And then you can apply for your F1 visa at your nearest U.S. Embassy. After you receive it, you will have to pay your CVIS I-901 fee, which is paid through a simple online link. And then you make an appointment with your nearest embassy to apply. You can go to usembassy.gov to see where the nearest embassy is for you, and see what available appointments they have. Also, you should visit studyinthestates.dhs.gov to receive more information about what it is to study in the States, what you need, what to expect at your embassy appointment, and other requirements that you need to meet to receive an F1 visa. Thank you so much. So now Arturo will talk about his personal experiences at Grace and the benefits and advantages for coming here.
Thank you, Deborah. And yes, extremely excited to be able to share all this with you guys, my experience here at Grace College, not just as a worker, as a admission counselor here, but also as a student and all the advantages that you get when you are coming to a different country and getting a really good education here in the States. So I want to start off by talking about the campus. It's something that we're really proud about, and we love seeing our campus. We love showcasing our campus. That is because we have perfect buildings. They're always perfect. They're always looking clean. And that is something that is really interesting, because when I was a student, I was still in my country, my home country. I was actually really surprised by how perfect the buildings looked. Once I got to the Grace College, I realized that that is actually how the buildings look in reality. And so that was something huge for me. Of course, you're always trying to showcase as a business, as a institution, the best that you can of your buildings and your place. And that was something that it was super consistent with Grace College, something that I loved. And till today, I'm really happy to be able to be surrounded by just the environment that we have here in our beautiful campus. Something that I also want to touch on is something that Aaron already mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, and is the Christian environment. We have an environment that is Christian and is safe, and we have this culture of collaboration, cooperation, and we have people that are always trying to help each other. So as an international student, and for me especially, coming from a different country and trying to make connections, probably with a little few friends, and without everything that is common for me, coming to a place where I don't have the same things that I used to have in my country, is super special and important for me to be able to build this relationship, to develop, and to start taking away all these barriers that exist when you are making this transition from your own country to a different culture, a different place with different people, and of course everything changes. So at Grace College, this is something that was extremely easy to do, and just because, once again, this culture that we have on campus, it is extremely easy for not just international students, but for students overall to be able to build connections, but also to have a meaningful conversation with your peers, to establish these long-term relationships, make friends that are going to last you forever, and of course are going to help you whenever you have challenges, and they're going to help you work through these challenges. Once again, safe environment, super important for me. Coming from a different country, your parents will probably want to know, where are you going? Is it safe? Are you gonna be okay? Are you gonna need are you gonna have everything that you need, and you're gonna have assistance when you get sick or you need something, or for example, you don't have a car and you need to go to a different city? That those all these things are things that Grace College is really good at, especially with international students. There's always a great team helping you. You're gonna have, if you get here, you have the opportunity to start studying at Grace. You're gonna realize there's a lot of people helping international students and making sure that they're getting the best experience that they can. Now, talking more about the advantages of studying here in the US, and some of the things that, of course, Grace College have are the variety of programs that we offer. And we have more than 90 majors and minors that students can choose from. And this is something really important because it helps our students to be able to better select what they want to become an expert at in the future, and so that they are prepared to do whatever they want to do as a profession, and find a better job opportunities in the future as well. Something that my own experience, once again, that you, of course, if you're able to come to Grace, you're gonna get, and we've seen tons of students getting this, is the opportunity to improve your language skills. So if you already speak one language, of course, your home language, you, by coming to Grace, by the end, but by the time that you are finishing your degree, your English skills are gonna go up. I've seen a lot of students coming here maybe without the language skill that they hope they had when they first came. By the time they're graduating, they're able to communicate perfectly in English. And so becoming bilingual or even trilingual is something super important. And we've seen how students get benefit by this, not just work in the work environment, but if they need to travel, and wherever they go, whatever they do, and wherever they spend their time with, this is something that's going to be super important for them, and it's going to be for the rest of their lives. Something that also is really great about Grace College, and something that was really important for me by the time I was applying and I decided to commit to Grace, is the variety. And this is something that was mentioned by you, Ben, is the variety of scholarships that we have here at Grace. Because it is true, coming to a US-based institution might be a little bit expensive sometimes. It could be a little bit over budget for some families, but since Grace got all these amazing scholarships, it starts to become more affordable. And with the help of admission counselors, we can lower that cost considerably and make sure that you can actually make this happen. Then just want to mention about their programs, about our programs here at Grace College. We have really specialized programs. Once again, Aaron mentioned about our rate in our classrooms is 23-1, one professor per every 23 students, which allows students to, of course, get closer with professors and get their questions answered. That's personally something for me that was super important, because as an international, you're a little lost at first. You don't know the how everything works. There's a lot of things you gotta learn to be able to kind of be a more independent, especially when you're just starting here at Grace. And having this closer interaction with professors always help to stay on track and get everything done with time, especially if you are here at Grace College doing a sport, in a varsity sport, where you're already spending a lot of time off and out of the classroom, and having to kind of work your time and make sure that you are making enough room for studies, for preparing for exams, and also for your sport practices and competitions. Something that our professors do really well at Grace, and is something that in my personal experience was super easy, is getting internships. And yes, this is going to be something really important, because you're not just developing, you are developing as a young professional, you are growing spiritually, but you're still going to need, by the time that you graduate, you're still going to need a job, you're still going to need to be able to sustain your lifestyle wherever you go. And here at Grace College, it is extremely easy to make connections, because our professors are always looking after our students, making those connections beforehand. So by the time that we need internships, we need to start gaining these work experience. There is already the word is already out, and they're always really willing to hire Grace College students because we have already put a really word out for our students through our professors and through other students that have done a really good job at really good companies here in the area and even in other companies all around the states. Um, Then lastly, I would like to talk about my personal job experience that I was able to get by being a student at Grace College. I have the opportunity to work in two Fortune 500 companies. And of course, this is something that it is not just me. A lot of Grace College students, international and non-international students, have the opportunity to go to these great companies and gain a lot of experience. Again, this is thanks to the connections and the great team that we have here at Grace College. But something that's definitely going to be helpful because you need the work experience, and by the time that you graduate, you want to have that job lined up. And that is something that we do really well here at Grace. Most of our students already have a job lined up, and that is something that is really helpful. And of course, families like seeing that. So I just want to close out by saying that Grace College, of course, is, again, important for you guys. It's going to be really important for your families as well. It's a safe environment. It's a Christian environment. So you're not really just coming here to Grace to get a degree. You're coming here to grow. You're coming here to grow in Christ. You're coming here to build meaningful relationships and to get the best out of these cultures of collaboration, cooperation, and where you are going to be able to absorb the better things of our community, and they're going to shape you to be a better person overall. So I will highly recommend you, if you are interested in starting at Grace, to apply. Ben already gave you the link. It's going to be in our main website, and as soon as you apply, one of our admission counselors is going to get in touch with you. It's going to guide you the whole process. It's going to walk with you in every single step, and it's going to make sure that that you can get the best opportunities and the best chances to come to our campus, start studying here, and get a degree at our institution at Grace College. So right now, I'm gonna guys leave you with a quick video. It's the Ways of Grace, and it really represents what we are as an institution and what we wanna demonstrate to the rest of the world as well.
The thing about grace is that there is no place it can't go. No space it won't transform. No heart it doesn't touch. And as a college, there's a reason we're named after grace. Because it calls each one of us to something higher and more hopeful. Grace is not just the tradition in which we were founded. It's the future we embrace. As students of Grace, we disrupt complacency. We redeem ideas and reimagine solutions. We weigh questions and create conversation. We integrate and include. We insist on healing and remember mercy. Because grace is not just a set of beliefs, it's beliefs set into motion. It makes us hungry for knowledge, serious about creating impact, passionate about a way of life that reflects Christ and the grace He has bestowed upon us. So when it is time to find our own way forward, grace gives us courage and confidence to go farther, impatient to trek fresh paths and scale unclimbable mountains. Wherever we go, whatever we do, whoever we become, we do it all in the ever-expanding ways of grace.
You guys hear the countdown?
Yes.
7, 6, 5,
Do we unmute?
3, 2, 1. All right. Welcome back. We're going to do some Q&A time now. So glad to answer as many questions as we can for you. Ben, do you want to go ahead and lead us off and give us some of the questions that we're getting?
Sure thing. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and just type it into the live chat and I will read it out and we will be happy to answer those for you. While you guys are just getting your thoughts together, we have a couple questions that come up quite frequently with international students. One of the first of those is, when can I actually apply to Grace College? So Arturo, do you want to take a stab at answering that?
For sure, then this is of course a question that is always being asked by our potential international students and people that are applying to come to Grace. And usually we try to tell them that they can apply whenever they want. Of course, they want to always want to be closer to when they're going to graduate. So we say their junior year, starting their junior year is usually when they can apply the earliest. And we recommend doing this with at least 6 or even 1 year in advance for international students, just because of all the documentation and all the process that they gotta work on, all the steps that Deborah mentioned. The process can get a little longer for some countries, and so just to make sure that they're going to have enough time to get everything done on time, we advise that they do it. You guys do it 6 or even a year in advance.
Awesome. Thanks, Arturo. So, yes, any other questions? Feel free to type those in the chat. Another question that we have that comes fairly often is, do I need to turn in any kind of a special application for scholarships after I have been admitted to Grace College? Aaron, do you want to tackle that?
Yes, I'd love to. So short answer, and the right answer is no, you don't have to. You're going to apply and you're going to need a high school transcript or secondary school transcript that has your GPA or your grade point average on there, and then a test score, an ACT, SAT, or TOEFL score. And we'll award scholarships based off of that admissions application. There is some other scholarships that can be awarded as well, but you'll fill that information out on the application. So there's no separate applications you need to apply for.
That's right. We try and keep things as simple and easy as we can when it comes to scholarship money, because we know that can be a little bit of a stressful thing as an international student. So another question that bounces off of that is, often students will ask us, do I need to have something in addition to an SAT, ACT, or TOEFL test score, or do you accept a different kind of English competency test in exchange for those for admissions? And the short answer is no. Those are the 3 tests that we have decided on for the admissions process. And so you will have to take one of those, either the SAT, the ACT, or the TOEFL, in order to be accepted to Grace. So we do not accept Duolingo. We do not accept the IELTS or Cambridge or IB scores as substitutes. Excuse me. But we do look at IB scores in terms of college credit. So if you do have IB scores or something like that, let your admissions counselor know, and they'll be able to look into whether or not you can substitute that for college credit at Grace. But in terms of admissions tests, it has to be the SAT, has to be the ACT, or it has to be the TOEFL. All right, another common question we have is, how good does my English need to be in order to study at Grace College? Which is a big question. So Deborah, do you want to tackle answering that?
Sure, I definitely can. Basically, your level of skill in your language in English needs to be at a level where you can communicate effectively in the classroom and outside of the classroom in understanding and in listening. So you'll also be doing a lot of reading and writing. So it needs to be at a level where you can do that and effectively.
Awesome. Thanks, Deborah. Okay, so we have a question, which is, what are the payment methods and what is the cost per month, year, etc., to attend Grace College? Aaron, do you want to tackle that question?
Yes, I'd love to, Ben. So the cost to attend Grace, the sticker price before any scholarships are awarded for the fall 2021 school year, so the upcoming school year. This is tuition, housing, and meal plan is $36,360. And I had mentioned earlier in the video, we know cost is a big frustration um, in the college search process. So don't let that initial sticker price scare you off. Scholarships are a very real thing at Grace. We help our students as much as we can, and want to do everything we can to make Grace financially possible school if it's possible for them. So as far as payment methods, we will bill by the semester. So if you come to Grace, you'll pay your bill per semester, and we have an online payment vendor that we use that you can make your payments online. You can make payment plans or pay off one-time payments.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. So another question is, what is the minimum score required for the TOEFL and by extension the SAT, the ACT in terms of score? The short answer to that question is that when we're looking at the test scores that students turn in, we're not necessarily looking for them to meet a minimum or to be, a certain exact number in order to admit a student to Grace College. We're looking at the application as a whole. We're looking at your high school transcript. We're looking at your test scores. So really, if you get a score and you're worried, oh, I don't know if this is high enough in order to be admitted to Grace, just send it in anyway. Go ahead and apply, take that first step, and then we will work with you to tell you, hey, is this score enough? Is it not enough? But don't worry about having to meet a specific number before you can apply or before you can give us your test score. So
yeah, and to add on to that, Ben, our goal in the admissions office is we want to make sure we're putting students in a place where they can be successful. So that's what we're looking at, and we want to make sure they're going to be in the best environment they can be for themselves to grow. So that's why we're looking at the person as a whole and not just focused on a minimum cutoff score for students.
Thanks, Aaron. All right, any other questions? We got a few more minutes here before we wrap things up. So if you have any other questions, feel free to post those in the chat. Another common question that we have is, I'm coming from a financial background that my family doesn't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money. How can I raise funds to be able to attend Grace College? And how can I overcome that gap? And there's a couple things you can do. And I'll tag team with Aaron a little bit on this to discuss some of these options. But one of the first things you can do is look at the scholarship package that we're going to be giving you as an institution and see what your final cost of attendance would be after those scholarships. But a second thing would be to apply for external scholarships outside of Grace College. So there are literally thousands of scholarships that exist just in the US alone that are for different kinds of students, some that are specifically geared towards international students. And if you do an online search for these kinds of scholarships, there's a ton that you'll be able to apply for and potentially even win that would help you offset this additional cost. Another cool thing we do for international students is if we are able to get through the whole admissions process and the visa process with you and you come to campus, international students can actually work up to 20 hours per week on an on-campus job. So that's something that if you save up that money during that part-time work and during the summer, if you're able to stay on an on-campus job, that can go up to 40 hours per week. So saving that up will usually be able to defray at least a few $1,000s a year off of your final cost of attendance. Aaron, do you have a few other methods of raising finances?
Yeah, I think I would definitely add, don't don't stop too early in the process because you think you can't afford Grace. Go through the application, see what scholarships you get, talk to your admissions counselor, let them know where you're at and be honest with them. Many times we can help connect you and find ways to help you raise scholarships. So don't get discouraged early on and say that's too much. I can't do that. Um, talk with your admissions counselor, share where you're at, and many times we can help students through that process.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Okay, so question from Bethany. What are some of students' favorite activities on campus? That is a great question. And there's
Yeah.
so many of them, it's going to be hard to answer. But Arturo, do you want to have a go at answering that?
Sure. So yeah, this is a great question because at Grace College we have tons of activities that are happening every single week and sometimes every day when school is in session. So it's really kind of like hard to pick really just one. I know that for freshmen, the hike, which is our first really big event where we introduce students to our campus, and as freshmen, that's is a really good time for them, and they get to know campus. They need to make new friends and new connections and people that they're going to be spending time for the time that they spend here at Gray. So I think that that is, and for me also was a really good experience, um, being at the hike and doing all these activities that are really well planned by our team here at Grace College. I'll place the hike pretty high in enjoyment from the students, but I mean, I'm pretty sure there are other activities. Of course, we have also the joust, which is pretty much a competition between teams within the college. We have also intramurals, sports that happen within Grace College students also love attending our athletic events, soccer games, volleyball games, basketball games. So it is really super diverse when it comes to activities that they can do while they're at Grace College, and sometimes we even encourage students to uh, watch their academic workload, because we want to make sure that they of course are going to have good grades and they're not going to get super distracted with everything that they can do here at Grace College. We, as I said, there's always something happening, and a lot of them are always attending and going to these events.
Yeah, I'll add a few on too. Arturo had mentioned many events on campus, but we live in a really cool area. There's mountain biking trails not 5-minute walk away from campus. You can rent kayaks down at the lake and paddle boards. We have a boat here on campus that you can sign up to go out on as a student with one of our captains. So there's plenty of things to do in the town, especially outdoors. If you like to be outdoors, there's a lot of things to do, even off our campus, really near for students.
Awesome. Thanks, Arturo and Aaron. So another question, follow-up, is the annual tuition, is that including room and board, so the fee for the dorms, or is that considered an additional cost? And that is considered an additional cost. So the annual tuition that Aaron was talking about earlier, the 26,500, that would be for tuition, and then room and board is an additional approximately 10,000 a year. So again, that's big numbers, that's big money, and we encourage you to not just look at that and be like, oh, I can't afford this, I can't even jump into this process, it's too intimidating. Once you have applied, you'll have an admissions counselor that'll walk you through this step by step, that'll look at finances with you and help you figure out what you can afford, and then how you can address the money that you do not have with you at that time. So yes, it is a separate cost, but again, don't let that stop you from taking a first step. All right, another question. The current migration situation, as well as the pandemic in Mexico, does that have any impact on the visa process right now? That is an excellent question, and I'm going to pass that to our visa specialist, Deborah.
Absolutely, I can answer that. Unfortunately, the short answer is yes. There is a bit of an impact right now with everything going on with the U.S. embassies having less appointments. So we will do everything that we can on our side to help you get an appointment at the embassy if that means providing you a letter to try and apply for an expedited appointment so that you can get here in time. We will provide you with all the documentation that we can so that you can get here this fall if you wanted. But if it doesn't work out, then we will be happy to host you this spring, to have you here in the spring. But we hope that soon some restrictions will be lifted, especially if you are in some countries that are having a lot of restrictions right now. So we will just have to wait and see how the governmental regulations change over time.
Awesome. Thank you, Deborah. All right, so we are starting to reach the end of our time together. And if anybody has a last minute question, now's the time to post it. Otherwise, I will turn it over to Aaron.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Arturo and Deborah, as well, for answering questions. Thank you, everyone that joined, for joining and asking questions. Like Ben said, don't let any obstacles stop you from taking that first step of applying. Once you apply, you'll get in contact with an admissions counselor, and we'll help you from there on out. You can apply at grace.edu/apply. We hope to see you soon. If you have more questions, feel free to sign up for a virtual visit on our website. Have a wonderful rest of your day.